Welcome to a sunny Spa here in Belgium for round number 6, race number 2 of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. What a turnaround in just 12 hours or so from the hugely wet conditions we had yesterday. It looks like we're going to get a dry race today. There you can see temperatures on your screen, 20 degrees here in Belgium. It's going to be a fantastic race, I'm sure. Thank you very much for bearing with us. We have had a little bit of a delay here this morning, but while we're getting ready on the grid, let's talk you through what happened yesterday. We did have a couple of slow starters, Franco Colapinto being one of them. There you can see to the right of screen, Isaac Hadjar from the front row didn't get away too well. Hadrian David was on the grass as he made his attempts to take the lead away from Michael Belov, who lined up on pole position. But Belov would get the switch back and retake that lead once more, and he would prove almost impossible to catch from there. We had one or two other drivers hitting problems, Paul Aron being one of them, sadly, as they made their way up Eau Rouge. They all just about got up in one piece, one or two going side by side as they came through Les Combes. Sadly, though, as we got further around the track, that's proved to be a danger zone. Gabriel Bortoletto becoming the first victim. Kaz Havercourt used the runoff and a little more coming out the final corner as he tried to make his way up the order. Then we had our next victim, David Vidales was next, and he would go into the barriers quickly, followed by Kaz Havercourt, who would hit further problems. Wait for it, there he goes. And thankfully for Kaz, he would be able to get his car pointed in the same direction. Colapinto would then make contact with Alexandre Bardignon, which tumbled him down the order, and saw Franco coming in. With Vidales spun round, we had the safety car out. Once we got going, Michael Belov took no time to clear off into the distance behind, though there was places to be gained for the likes of Kaz Havercourt there in the red and black as he tried to fight his way back through after an earlier spin. And a very brave move going into Eau Rouge there, that time on Gabriel Bortoletto. Pressure from Hadrian David would prove to be vital as he made his way past Zane Maloney on just the penultimate lap of the race to snap second. But 9 seconds up the road, it would be a first win for Michael Belov and a first win for G4 Racing. Brilliant stuff from him. Hadrian David took another podium. Zane Maloney would round it out, but there were G4 Racing celebrating their first win. Well, that was yesterday, and as you can see, quite a difference it is this morning as the cars are getting lined up ready to go for race number 2. The grid for this race will be formed from the first qualifying session we had yesterday. We had 2 qualifying sessions, one of those being in the morning, which took place in dry conditions, and one of those in the afternoon. And here you can see this is what the grid is going to look like as they make their way round. In fact, it was wet conditions, my apologies, for the first qualifying session. Looking at the times, it does not take 2 minutes and 35 seconds to get around here in the dry. And in the wet conditions, it was Gregor Saucy who went fastest. He's going to take pole position for this one. His 8th time lining up on pole. He finished 8th yesterday. He came through from 24th on the grid to finish in 8th place. Once he got there, it just proved a little too difficult to make any further ground. Starting alongside him on the front row is his ART teammate Gabriele Mini, 5th in the championship, now just 1 point behind Isaac Hadjar in the rookie standings. So Gabriele Mini, a chance for him to snatch the lead in the rookie standings away. Well, you saw just a few seconds ago that David Vidales had a spin yesterday, which took him out of the race. He has a chance for redemption today. He's going to line up 3rd on the grid and a chance to take his 2nd podium of the season. Hadrian David will be alongside him on the 2nd row. He's had 5 podiums to his name this season. What can the Frenchman do in this one? He's slowly working his way up the champion standings. He's 2nd now, and he closed the gap to Gregor Saucy. Also getting up the championship standings was Zane Maloney. He is now up to 3rd place, and he is just 8 points behind Adrian David, the Barbadian, having an absolutely fantastic phase of the series here, particularly here this weekend. Really enjoying Spa is Zane Maloney. Kaz Havacourt, he was another one that took a spin yesterday. He's going to line up where he has his personal best result. 6th is his best result so far this season. That's where he starts this race from. Let's see what Kaz can do today. Starting from 7th place, a driver who took a spin yesterday, Paul Aron, in desperate need of a good result. The Mercedes junior driver will start this one from 7th place. He finished 18th at the end of race 1 yesterday. Starting in 8th place, a driver with just 1 point to his name so far this season, a chance for a personal best result for Elias Seppänen. That 1 point came from finishing 10th place. The top 10 score points and the top 10 only. You do not get any points from fastest lap or pole position. Let's see what Elias can do. We welcome, of course, Dexter Patterson, a wild card for this weekend with Monolite Racing. Yesterday, he finished 19th place, starting lower down the order, but he starts 9th for this one. Franco Colapinto will round out the top 10 again. Another driver in desperate need of a good result, and he took a race win here yesterday as well. Let's see what Franco can do. He's going to start behind Elias Seppänen, who we have a look at there. We had a brief look once again at Dexter Patterson in the 55. There you can see the grid forming up, 33 of them on the grid in total. It's going to be an absolutely cracking race, I'm sure, particularly when they go up Eau Rouge and Radillon for the first time and make their way down the Camel Straight. It's going to be a race to make it down to Lake Hume first. Who's going to get there? Will it be Saucy? Will it be Mini? Will it be the likes of Vidales and David? David Vidales can kind of take a nothing to lose approach in this race now. He's 10th in the championship standings. He hasn't scored any points for 3 races. So really for him, he has nothing to lose. Starting just outside of the top 10 is going to be our race winner from yesterday, Michael Belov, and also Mari Boyer. Been very consistent in the mid stages of this season. Mari Boyer 3rd in the rookie standings as a result of that. Finished just outside of the top 10 yesterday. Here's another look at our pole sitter, Gregor Saucy. It's been an absolutely fantastic season for him. 164 points he leads with in comparison to 114 points for Hadrian David. All the cars are exactly the same, so no one can really work out where he is finding all his pace from. Gregor Sorsi, the 21-year-old who is just having a brilliant season, finished 7th in the Formula Renault Euro Cup last year and 6th in the Toyota Racing Series, where he took 2 podiums. He was 11th and 3rd here last year, but it's just been such a turnaround for Sorsi. He'll be hoping to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Neil Yarni and Hugo de Sadeleer as winners, Swiss winners here at Spa. Neil Yarni taking a win in 2002, Hugo back in 2016. Can we get another Swiss winner? We'll find out in the next 30 to 40 minutes. It's going to be a 30-minute race plus the additional lap as ever. We're getting closer and closer. The grid is beginning to be cleared now. Yesterday, if you were with us, you would have remembered it was a huge scramble on the grid. Some of those wanted to go on slicks, some on wets as the rain just started to fall. The KIC Motorsport drivers were of those who all went on slick tyres, as you can see right in front of you. Elias Seppänen is one of those. They gambled for slick tyres, and it was a worthy gamble in my opinion. Also, Ido Cohen did the same. We had an extra formation lap due to the fact that Yassin Ferrati, who's now with KIC Motorsport, spun. That dropped him down the order, and with an additional lap, Ido Cohen took the chance to come into the pit and go back out again, and he managed to finish in 21st place. You'll notice Ido from racing in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Let's go through some of those starting just outside of the top 10. There you can see the conditions. No signs of any rainfall coming in here in the next 30 minutes, and let's hope it stays that way. But Michael Belov and Mari Boyer, we talked about them on row 6. On row number 7 is going to be Patrick Pasma, who matched his personal best result yesterday, took another 5th place. That's his 4th time finishing 5th this season. A great first race with AIT. Lorenzo Fluxa, another person who took a personal best result yesterday. He starts this one from 14th. He finished 12th yesterday, and that's the best result he's had this season. Got a chance of some points from there as well. Francesco Pizzi is going to be starting on row 8 with Isaac Hadjar, who sits 4th in the standings. He's our rookie leader. He's got some work to do. Isaac, one of those drivers that does get frustrated with himself when qualifying does not go well. William Alatalo, another one who's been very consistent this season, kind of gone under the radar in his consistency. His worst result so far this season, William Alatalo, who starts from 17th, is 14th place, and that's really, really impressive stuff, given when you look towards the top of the championship standings, all of our top 6, 7 have all had at least one DNF, so he's one of the most consistent in the entire championship. Ido Cohen starts alongside him, making just his 2nd race of the season. Next alongside from that will be Dulu Barrichello, who was absolutely flying through the field yesterday and then got himself tangled up somewhere along the lines and dropped down the order. A real shame to see, because at one stage it looked like he was on for some points, but he's going to be just inside the top 20 with Gabriel Bortoletto, who of course we saw took a spin. Alex Quinn, a winner here last year. He's going to be on row 11 with Tommy Smith, who starts where he finished yesterday. Dino Beganovic was 4th in race 1, a personal best for him, a first rookie win. He's going to be all the way down on row 12 though with Andrea Rosso. We have Nico Gola and Emidio Pescia, another driver unfortunate yesterday, had to come through a pit lane with some front wing damage. And we have Pietro Deligoanti and Nicola Marin and Jelly. Axel Noss did very well yesterday, made his way up into the top 20, 6th time finishing inside that top 20 from Bardignon, who got spun round. Real shame for him, because another driver who looked on for a personal best, Bula Ferrati. And Goethe is going to be one to watch, potentially from the back of the field as well. Oliver Goethe in the first qualifying yesterday, which sets the grid for this race. It was wet, and it was the first time it was wet all weekend. So a lot of the drivers, particularly those rookies like Goethe, who've never driven here before, were going in completely blind, and he spun up at Lake Coombe. When they went out onto the track, it was just spitting with rain, and they were all on slick tyres, so they all knew they had to get a lap in early. That first flying lap was going to set the grid. Goethe spun along with a few others. That meant that all the drivers had to come into the pits with the red flags going out. Then the session actually took underway in wet conditions, and when it did, Gregor Sorsi took pole position by just 1/10 of a second from Gabriele Mini. While they're set off, we're going to have the one warm-up lap, then 30 minutes will be on the clock, and we will go away and racing. A standing start, as ever, of course, if you're new to the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Okay, let's run you through that grid once more, because there's lots of them out there. Sorsi and Mini are going to be on row number 1. It's an all ART front row. Row number 2 is going to be David Vidales and Hadrian David. David Vidales desperately needs a good result here today after a DNF yesterday. Row number 3, Zane Maloney and Kaz Havicourt. MP Motorsport have won here for the last 3 years in a row, and they're the most successful team here at this level. Paul Aron and Elias Sepinen are then on row number 4. Elias looking for his second points finish. Dexter Patterson, nothing to lose from row number 5. Likewise, Franco Colapinto, who hasn't actually scored points at a lot of rounds this season due to several different reasons. Michael Belov and Mary Boyer just outside of the top 10. Patrick Pasma and Lorenzo Fluxa are going to be on row number 7. Row number 8 will be Francesco Pizzi and Isaac Hadjar, our lead rookie in the championship. Then we go to William Alatalo and Ido Kern. We welcome him for the rest of the season. He's going to be on row 9, the Israeli driver. Dulu Barrichello and Gabriel Bortoletto, an all Brazilian 10th row. Just outside of the top 20, it's going to be Alex Quinn and Tommy Smith for JD Motorsport. The Australian racing here for the first time. Dino Beganovic, our rookie winner yesterday, alongside Andrea Rosso. Then we have Nico Gola on row 13 with Emidio Pescia for DR Formula. No teammates for him this weekend, so it's been really tricky for him. All Italian 14th row with Pietro Deligoanti and Nicola Marinangeli. Starting to get some finishes under his belt, the latter there, which is good for his confidence. Axel Noss and Alexandra Bardignon will be on row number 15. Then we come next, just outside of the top 30, to Elena Bula and Yassin Ferrati. They will be on row number 16 and forming. Row 17 will be Oliver Goethe. We didn't really get a chance to see what he could have done in that qualifying session yesterday. Let's see what Oliver Goethe can do from the back. This is, of all the tracks we go to this season, this is one where you can overtake. And when we went to the likes of Monaco, very, very difficult to overtake there. Likewise, Barcelona, some would argue as well. Of course, before we do make it round, the next round has sadly been cancelled. We were due to go to Nürburgring in 2 weeks' time. And in terms of when that next round will be, that'll be communicated over the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine website and social media pages over the coming weeks. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. But after that, we go to Red Bull Ring, Mugello and Monza. All tracks where you can really race at. Let's hope we get a good race here this morning. It's round number 6. It's race number 2, 33 of them on the grid, some new faces, some drivers swapping teams as well. And out front, our championship leader, Gregor Sorsi, looking for his 7th win of the season. However, Gabriele Mini alongside him wants his first win of the season. He's taken plenty of rookie wins, but can he take his first overall win? What about David Vidales? He won the very first race of the season. Can he get back to the top step here at round number 6? Hadrian David, 5 podiums for him so far this season, one of those being a victory which came back at Paul Ricard on home soil. Can Hadrian add to that here? Zane Maloney won him in Monaco. Can he take another here? And Kaz Havicourt has a best result of 6. Can he get into the top 5? Can he get onto the podium? Can he even make MP Motorsport a white race winner here once again? Let's find out. Green flag flies at the back of the field. Lights are coming on. To the left of your screen is Saucy. To the right is Mini. We are go for round number 6, race number 2 here at Spa. And a very good start from Gregor Saucy. Immediately pulling over to take the racing line. There is Mini trying to dive down the inside is Vidales. Let's hope they all get through La Source nice and safely as they now make their way downhill towards Eau Rouge. 1 or 2 drivers running wide. We had 1 or 2 slow starters as well, but other than that, it looks like we're all away nice and safely as they come up Eau Rouge and Raidillon now for the first time. What a sight that must be if you are trackside. Brilliant stuff. Now it's the race down the Kemmel Straight. Who's going to win? To the right of picture there is Mini. Looks like he's got the run on Saucy. Let's find out when they get towards Lake Coombe. Mini trying to close the angle and he's taken the lead. The 16-year-old leads here at Spa. He's the only driver in the top 10 of the championship to not have driven outside of F4, and he's leading a race. Oh no, I think that's Aron that's gone wide there. Paul Aron trying to rejoin the circuit, and he's going to lose a few places. Colapinto in the orange and blue colours there, trying to go around the outside of Havicourt as they make their way now down down through No Name. We've also got Colapinto trying to get through there ahead of them. That's David, but it was one of the Prema drivers that was pushed off, and I think it was Aaron Vidales was the Prema car you saw coming through your picture. Prema in the red and white colours there is Aaron, so he has dropped down a few positions, and Aaron will be desperately frustrated with that. He's going to be in the lower order of the top 10, I imagine now, as they make their way round on the first lap. Overall, it looks like a tidy start. One or two drivers making moves. I think that was Alex Quinn getting himself a place. May have been Alatalo on the move as well. There goes Hajar. That was the driver we saw coming down the inside there. And Hajar there, I think that was him getting past Michael Belov. Brilliant stuff, brilliant racing there. We saw Elias Sepinen just coming through your picture there, but he's got Paul Aron right behind him. There's David, there's Havercourt, there's Colapinto. This is the number 55 of Dexter Patterson, a new face to the championship. Nothing to lose, this 17-year-old Scotsman, but we're side by side here. Vidales has Maloney coming to the outside of him. Maloney trying to get through. He's going to try and get the switchback now out of the chicane. Also catching them is David as well. Then it's Havercourt and Colapinto behind, but Vidales has just held on to third place, but this battle is not over yet. Maloney to the right of screen is going to try and get the switch back. In fact, he's going to try and go all the way around the outside. Vidales trying to cover him off. Well defended from the Spaniard there, and Vidales holds on for now. Take a breath and we go back to our leaders, because these two fighting with each other now, I'm sure, as they come up Eau Rouge Radion down the Camel Straight. Kaz Havercourt and Franco Colapinto working nicely together. I think we've had Aaron make some moves back through the field. He's up to 9th place now. Your big movers and losers. Sepinen has dropped 4, Hajar has dropped 5, but more importantly, Saucy's trying to go for the lead at Lake Coombe. He goes round the outside of Mini. Mini trying to hold on here. Good clean racing from the pair of them, and Mini is going to hold on to the lead as they make their way down Bruxelles. These two can't fight with each other too hard, because behind we've got Maloney up to 3rd, and he's trying to close down as well. We're still side by side here, a 16-year-old versus a 21-year-old as we come through No Name Corner, and Mini just about holds on. Well, he's got 26.5 minutes more to try and hold on, but this is good stuff. The gap between Saucy and Vidales, the last time they get between Saucy and Maloney, sorry, was just over a second, 1.3 seconds to be exact. In the background, you can see Maloney is pulling clear of Vidales, who's pulling clear of David, but Colapinto there in the orange and blue, he's the one to watch. He is closing in on those top 5 very quickly. In the all-red colours, Alatalo is having a look up the inside of Pasma, but to Sepinen, sorry, but to no avail. Back to our two leaders. Here they come now, making their way up towards Blanchimont. This for the second time of asking. Half a second between them will get a clear gap for you in terms of 2nd and 3rd when we make it up to the line. But first of all, Saucy looks like he's lining up a move here up towards the chicane. Mini's going to have to go defensive. Flat out they go through Blanchimont, and pulling to the outside there is Saucy. It's going to be who goes later on the brakes, and for now it is Mini, but this battling is doing no good for the ART team. They are being called by R-Race GP, Zay Maloney. Vidales is coming under pressure behind from David. Then it's Colapinto, Havercourt, Dexter Patterson with absolutely nothing to lose is in 8th place. Then we have Aaron and yesterday's race winner, Michael Belov in 10th. Hajar's made a good start. He's gained 5 positions up to 11th. Then it's Pasma, Alatalo, Sepinen and Bortoletto. We drop downhill for the 3rd time. Quickest on track, it's Dexter Patterson in 8th place. You'll see his position is highlighted purple. He is the fastest on track. There he goes in the all-black colours uphill. Here's Aaron. He's under pressure from yesterday's winner, Michael Belov, but our leaders are side by side once more. It looks like Saucy might have the run here on Gabriele Mini, and he's already through. Mini trying to go back on the attack as they get up towards Lake Coombe. The gap back to Maloney is 1.1 seconds. He closed the gap by 4/10 last time. Mini makes a lunge down the inside at the right-hander at Lake Coombe. Almost clear, was almost contact, but in the end just avoided as we come down Bruxelles. Mini knows that he cannot let Saucy get a gap here. He's got to stay with him. Maloney, he's licking his lips in the background, isn't he? He's just saying, keep fighting away with each other. I'm closing you guys down, and you'd have to say he's within slipstream range now. He can see a fight for the race win is on here for him as he comes through the left-hander. The Barbadian driver having an absolutely brilliant weekend so far, and he'll want to make amends for yesterday. He made a mistake at that corner we just came through at Pouhon. and Maloney. That cost him second place. He'll want to make up for that today. There, the field filtering their way through. It is very close all the way through, isn't it? There's the 21 of Quinn. He's currently down in 19th place with a lot of work to do, but we must go back to our leaders, and it looks like Saucy has got himself a gap here. He may have even broken the toe as they come up towards Francorchamps. Colapinto there in the orange and blue, trying to get up towards Hadri and David. Here we look back. I think this is the FA Racing driver of Gabriel Bortoletto. Is under pressure from Sepinen, Cohen and Pizzi. In fact, we're looking at Nicola Marinangeli there in the number 14. That's your battle for 24th. Here's Emilio Pesce, who runs in 22nd place. Leaders are coming up towards the line now, but we go back to this battle, and this looks like Sepinen coming under pressure here from Ido Cohen. Ido Cohen trying to go round the outside, but can't get through. Now a battle for 15th place on the exit. Francesco Pizzi is trying to get through. Pizzi's going to pull to the outside. Behind that is Boyer. Then we have Quinn taking the racing line. He's trying to make a move as well. Side by side, Cohen down the inside there of Pizzi, or defending from Pizzi. And for now, he's going to hold that place. Well, Saucy had a gap of 8.5 tenths of a second. Last time we crossed the line, he did a 2:18.2. Hadrian David, though, in fourth place, did a 2:17.8. In the lower order of the top 10, we're seeing very close battles. We're seeing Vidales coming under pressure in the background there, and that is from Colapinto. Colapinto was trying to make a move. Here's Maloney, who is now in third place and right on the back of Mini, and Colapinto is through. So we have a change. It looks like for fifth place there. Colapinto has got past Vidales, that in the background, and Kaz Havakor also trying to make a move there as well. 22 minutes on the clock still, plus that additional lap at the end of the race. They make their way down through the left-hander and down towards Pouon now. Saucy's lead is just over half a second. Mini really needs to close that gap down before he comes under significant pressure from Maloney. David behind, quickest on track, so Maloney for the first time in this race could be looking over his shoulder rather than looking forwards. There's Colapinto in fifth place. Then we have the Vidales. Hadjar there trying to get down the inside of Belov. This is the battle for the last point. The top 10 score points. Is exactly the same format as you see at the very top of single-seater racing. So 25 to the winner, 1 point to 10th place. There's Aaron. He's fighting away with Patterson. That said, though, Patterson will not score any points. So at the moment, Hadjar will score a point in 11th place because Dexter Patterson is a wild card, so he will score no points. He's essentially invisible when it comes to points in this race. Right, fight for third is on. David right behind Maloney. Maloney's going to go defensive. David's going to pull to the outside. That's going to give some breathing space to Mini, and David unable to get through there in the silver and white colours. Just ahead of him, his teammate Maloney. Then we have Colapinto next, who's got a bit of a gap over Vidales. Havakort next, and it's Patterson. Here we look back at Patterson now, who's pulled alongside Aaron. They make their way up towards La Source. It's going to be a battle on the brakes. Patterson's going to go for this. He's going to try and go around the outside, but Aaron too wise to what he was going to do there, and the Estonian will hold on. Just over 20 minutes plus a lap. What a shot this is as they come through La Source. Through Eau Rouge, sorry. You don't get that corner name wrong very often, do you? But there we go. It's been a hectic start to the race, so I think you'll forgive me. Another fastest lap for David, 2:17.8 for him. But it looks like Mini in second place has closed the gap there to Saucy. Behind Maloney for the first time in this race is defending now from David. Colapinto then in fifth. Then it's Vidales, Havakor, Patterson, Aaron, Belov in 10th place. Bortoletto has just got past Sepinen for 14th place. Cohen is up to 15th place as well. He's just got his way past Sepinen, who's losing a couple of places. Here's Aaron dropping downhill, still in this very close fight here with Patterson in front of him. Belov is behind him, then it's Hadjar behind that, and Alatilo has joined these guys as well. Alatilo, with the worst result of 14th so far this season, now has moved his way from 17th on the grid up to 13th place. But here, two drivers who were fighting towards the front yesterday. Oh dear, we have our first incident of the race, and that looks like, I think that might have been Deli Gawanti and Smith who are in the barriers. We could see a safety car here. I think that was at the top at Les Combes. And we don't know what happened there, but we do know we have two cars in the barriers, and that's not going to be good news for Saucy, and safety car is deployed. Well, Mini, the 7/8 gap he had to Saucy is now going to diminish, and this is good news for the likes of Colapinto, who's been working his way up. It's good news for Aaron as well. It's good news for Patterson as a wild card. What's happened here, though? It looks like going into potentially the left-hander at Lacoon Turn 8. There's been contact, and the two have gone head-on into the barriers. So for the first time in this race, well, we made it just over 10 minutes through before we saw our first real big incident. With 33 on the grid, I'd say that's pretty good work. But this, from a neutral point of view, this is actually good news, isn't it? Because this is going to really close things up. For Saucy, this is bad news. For Mini, likewise, they were having a little bit of a lead over the rest of the field. But for all of those drivers trying to work their way up the order, this is just what they wanted, particularly there for Hajar and Belov coming through the field. They're down 10th and 11th at the moment, the last of the points finishers. So the Alpine safety car will come out at the head of the field, and the drivers will form up, and that'll give us a chance to go for a full run-through of the order so far. So Saucy leads from Mini, Maloney is third, David fourth, Colapinto then in fifth place. Vidales is sixth, Havercourt is the second of our rookies in seventh, Patterson is in eighth place, Aaron ninth, Belov is 10th. Then we have Hajar, who's moved up to 11th. Pasma is in 12th place. He's up from 13th on the grid. Alatalo has come from 17th to 13th. Then we have Bortoletto, who's gained 6 places in this race. So this safety car could potentially help him get back into the points. He's not scored points for a while now this season. He scored 2 points in the very first race. Can he have a chance to get some more? He's going to be in 14th place. He's up from 20th on the grid. Ido Cohen is 15th. Then is Sepinen in 16th place. Boyer is 17th place. Pizzi is 18th place. Then it's Quinn in 19th. Beganovic is in 20th place. Behind that is Gola, 21st. Nico Gola having a pretty decent race as well. Goethe has come from 33rd to 22nd. Good going. That's from young Oliver Goethe. Then we have Emidio Pesce in 23rd. Barrichello is 24th. Marinangeli 25th. Rosso is 26th. Then it's Nos, Fluxa, Bula, Deli Gawanti, and then sadly those drivers we have lost from the race. Smith sadly out of the race with Pietro Deli Gawanti. A real shame. Smith had qualified 22nd. Deli Gawanti had qualified 27th. But with the laps so long here at Spa, sometimes the clear-up operation doesn't take too long in terms of laps. I think we'll probably get at least one more behind the safety car. Front wing in the barriers there. One of the marshals will have that one, I'm sure. But, oh dear, now. That's the front right of that car has taken a huge whack, hasn't it, into the barriers. So that's at turn 8. There's, I'm sure, been some side-by-side contact through the turn 7. Often you see cars as they're trying to hold on around the outside, find themselves on the curb, and then contact can be made. I'm not going to apportion blame to any drivers. Lights have gone out on the safety car. Well, there we go. Good work by the marshals. Very quick work, and it means that just with one full lap behind their safety car, we're now going to get going again in this race. 5 laps have been completed. Saucy, though, is an absolute mastermind when it comes to restarts. He spoke to me about it as well, and he says he sits down and plans it before a race weekend, exactly what he's going to do. Practices it as well. So watch for Saucy here. Mini's his teammate, though. I'm sure he could be wise to it. Maloney in third, David, Colapinto, Vidales, Havercourt, Patterson, Aaron and Belov, your top 10. I'd say coming up to the chicane, as soon as we get through the middle part of the chicane, as soon as Saucy can see an opportunity to get that car straightened up, he's going to nail that throttle. So he'll straighten the car up here. He's going to take a wider line as possible. And there we can see already he's on the throttle. And a good restart there. A very good restart from Maloney in third place as well. Mini could be under pressure as we get this race going once more here at Spa. Mini thinking about having to defend from Maloney, but he's within a slipstream range. It's going to be a race down the Kemmel Straight. Aaron in the red and white there, fancy the look down the inside of Patterson. Couldn't quite get through as they drop downhill, and Mini is under huge pressure there in second place. Maloney in third place, might have even lifted off the throttle there just to make sure he can go flat out up Eau Rouge and Radion as they come onto the Kemmel camel straight for the first time since this restart. 14 minutes plus a lap to go. Saucy defending there from teammate Mini, but it's Maloney to the right of your screen who we have to watch. He's surely going to be in second by the time we get towards Lake Coon, but Mini got a great time. Maloney's trying to go all the way around the outside of Mini. The two are going to be side by side, and he's pushed off Mini off onto the curb, but Mini furiously fighting back into the right-hander, but just about getting through was Maloney. He's going to have to go defensive into Bruxelles. Here comes David trying to go round the outside of Mini, the two running side by side, and David is through into third place. Disappointing restart there from Mini. He's lost 2 places. Very good restart from Saucy. You can't say he didn't fight that one all the way to the end though. Mini gave it absolutely everything, but it just wasn't quite enough. This is good news for Saucy though. That little battle between the two means that Saucy has got away in this race, but Maloney won't be too bothered about that. Damage limitation for him. He's managed to make the place, and that's all he'll care about. David has got himself into the podium places. Colapinto in 5th place will be lining up Mini as well, but we've got to watch for Vidales in 6th place there as well. Havercourt, Aaron, Patterson, Belov still rounding out your top 10. Up towards Blanchimont they go. The gap is going to be around 6, or is actually 1 second between Saucy and Maloney, so that's out of slipstream distance. This could be good news for David in 3rd place, because he's within 4/10, it seems, of Maloney, and that'll give him a good range to potentially make a move. So the battle for 2nd could be on, but the battle for 4th is on. Colapinto thinking about a dive down the inside. There goes Aaron diving down the inside of, I think that was Patser of Havercourt. He's gone down the inside of, and that looks like a move made there from Aaron. Belov, I think that was running wide in the background. Let's see him across the line. So Aaron is up to 7th, then it's Havercourt, Patterson, Belov is in 10th place, Hajar is 11th as they make their way into the first corner. Pasma there was the driver we saw on the inside. Behind that, I think that's Alatalo trying to make a move. He's fighting away with Pasma for 12th as they come uphill once more, and Maloney has closed the gap to Saucy. The gap has come down from 1 second to 7.5 tenths as they come down the Camel Straight in the background. Are we going to see Mini getting that 3rd place back from David? He pulls to the right-hand side of our picture, and Mini is going to fight this one as they go in towards Lake Coon, but later on the brakes was David, and he holds on to 3rd for now. Our 2 leaders, the gap is coming down between them. Colapinto there in the orange and blue, desperately trying to fight his way up the order, but as it goes, he just can't make any ground. Just can't get the run. We've had a lock up there from 3rd place, David, just as he's got into 3rd place. A very small mistake from him, but gets away with it now as they come back downhill and down towards Pouhon. Gap between the 2 leaders still coming down here. This is really good work from Maloney. He knows he's got to catch. He's got to catch Saucy now, and if he has to take life out of the tyres to do that, more life than planned, then that's exactly what he will do. Last time round it was a 2:18.6 for Maloney and a 2:18.7 for Saucy. Let's get the lap times on this time. Through the first sector, Maloney closed the gap by 0.2 of a second. Let's get them through the second sector now as they come through Stavelot and make their way up towards Blanchimont. Maloney slower though than Saucy through the second sector, and by about 0.7 of a second as well. So Saucy perhaps just getting his tyres up to temperature a little bit slower, and he's now starting to extend that lead once more. But Vidales right in the slipstream of Colapinto, the Prema driver, looked to be all over the back of Colapinto. There we can see them right in the middle of the screen. And are we going to see a move here from Vidales? A late lunge down the inside. Yes, we are. He makes a move, but is unable to get through. Backed out of it in the end, and Colapinto later on the brakes just about holds on. Havercourt having to cut the corner there. He's going to have to be careful of that. Patterson in the background was under pressure from Belov, and Patterson now having to defend. Belov pulls to the right of screen. Vidales makes a move though down the inside of Colapinto, and Vidales is through. So a change for 5th place. In the background, I think we saw a change between Belov and Patterson as we drop downhill. So here is our change for 4th. Oh dear, Marinangeli has spun, and I think Emilio Petra was the other one to spin as well. That looks like Marinangeli has spun. if he can't get going, the safety car will come back out. But our leaders are making their way down the Kemmel Straight. 1 second it was between Saucy and Maloney. And Maloney has closed the gap in the first sector. Colapinto here defending. Oh dear, contact between the two teammates. Vidales has gone round. And Aaron, as he tried to make a move down the inside, made contact with Vidales there. And Vidales briefly on 3 wheels. Hopefully he can get going again, but a bad weekend turns even worse, not just for him, but for the Prema team in general. Well, let's find out if he was able to get going again. The drivers making their way now down through the middle section of the circuit. Doesn't look like there's any sign of a safety car coming out so far, so we will pick up Havercourt here, currently in 9th place. Behind that, this is Hajar and Patterson batting away for the last of the top 10 positions. Down towards campus they go, and Hajar to the right of screen pulls to the outside of Patterson, unable to get through, but he's going to try all the way around the outside, and Hajar is through. Brilliant stuff there. Patterson thought he'd had it, but Hajar was able to hold on, and the rookie is up 1 more place. He's going to fight this one all the way to the end, and it looks like the incidents that we did have possibly been cleared, so that'll be good news. Green flags are still out, so I'd say that's a good sign that we are still going to be away and racing on the next lap with absolutely no problems. In terms of your leaders, the gap is going up between Saucy and Maloney. In terms of Maloney and David, it is also going up as well as we come out of the chicane and now make our way down the start-finish straight. We'll get the gaps for you as they come across the line. 1 second, so they're fairly evenly matched, it seems. In the last sector there, Maloney closed the gap, but in the background, this is a battle going on for 7th, 8th, 9th places as they make their way down towards the hairpin. Aaron trying to fight back after that incident with Vidales, tries to get the switch back on Hajar, unable to get through, but he's got the Kemmel Straight to have another go. Through Eau Rouge they go. There we see Colapinto. There goes Belov, who's really working his way up the order nicely here. Belov perhaps a little unsighted, is up to 6th place now. Havercourt in 7th. Here's our leaders making their way down the Kemmel Straight, and I'd say this race is not over because Maloney's just taken 0.3 of a second out of Saucy. So the gap is down to 0.7 of a second as Aaron dives down the inside there of Hajar. Hajar's not going to give this one up. Clean racing between the pair, and Aaron's gone through. So a change for 9th place there. Good driving from Aaron. Behind that, Alatalo now trying to get involved in this as well. Alatalo in the all red there, trying to have a look down the inside of Hajar. Not able to get through. Behind that there is Pasma. Bortoletto getting up the order as well. He's in the light blue colours there, right in the middle of your picture. He's coming up the order nicely as well. He started this one from 20th on the grid. Cohen is 14th. Boyer in 15th place. Here though is Alatalo. He's up into 11th place. Worst result of 14th for him so far this season. So he knows how to keep out of trouble, and he knows how to get in and around that top 10. A podium for him as well so far this season, as well as they work their way through campus. Now they come down towards turn number 15. Havercourt leading this queue. This is your battle for 7th, which stretches as far back here as the likes of Pasma there in the white and black. Now with ART, of course, he's running in 12th. Bortoletto in 13th next along, and then in 14th Cohen, and then it goes all the way back, in fact, to Beganovic, who's up 7 places in this race. Goethe, by the way, update on him, he's now up 14th, and he's up to 19th in this race from dead last on the grid. So really good driving from Goethe, and he's got just over 5 minutes and a big queue ahead of him to try and make some more. Into the chicane we go once more, and Aaron is the one to watch in this battle. Up in the background, second in that very, very close queue of cars. Aaron is the one to watch, I'd say. Let's see them as they come up. That's Colapinto there. Then we have Belov there. But Aaron is second in that queue, and you can see getting out of shape. Third in the queue now. Getting out of shape there was Patterson ahead of him. Patterson, of course, has never raced these cars before, so tyre wear could be an issue for him. But as I say that, I'd say the Scottish driver looks like he could make a move here on Havercourt. Up ready on now we come, and Havercourt under all sorts of pressure here as we go onto the Kemmel Straight. Are we going to see a change for 7th place in terms of the gap between your leaders? It's continuing to come down. It's down to 0.7 of a second, but up in the distance, Patterson is alongside Havercourt. Patterson to the right of screen, Havercourt to the left. Who's going to make it into Lake Coombe first? It's just about Havercourt. Brilliant driving from from the Dutch driver there, went very late on the brakes, and he gets through. Well, just behind them, it's Aron versus Hajar. Aron's going defensive, I can see, as they come down the hill. Hajar looking to the outside there. Behind that is Alatalo, and he's trying to make his way through as well. Aron, who's already had an incident this race, has proved he can race cleanly on a couple of other occasions, but he's going to be fighting as hard as he can to try and regain some places. Patterson ahead of him, doesn't score any points, just to remind you. So currently, in terms of points, he's going to be finishing in 8th place. Oh, Colapinto all over the back of Belov there. That's because they've swapped places. So Belov, our winner yesterday, has just made a move. Looks like it must have been somewhere in and around Pouhon, and that's Belov, who has got through into 5th place. Really good driving from the Russian driver. Got G4 Racing their first win yesterday, and that was yet another team who have won in this championship. Of course, it is a championship where all the cars are the same, so as long as you work well as team and driver, you can go and win races. Right, Hajar there, is he going to try and move into Blanchimont there? There's Bortoletto trying to catch him as well, but it looked like Hajar was trying to go round the outside, and he has done. Hajar ran the outside at Blanchimont, and he's go through ahead of them. No, that's Dexter Patterson down the inside of Havicourt. Hajar and Aron side by side in the background as well as they come through the chicane, and Aron is going to get through. Hajar and wide, rejoins the circuit, but out front in the all-black colours, that's Patterson who's gone through. Alatalo in the all-red, trying to get through into Lassource. He pulls across to the right. Aron defending there from Hajar, and Alatalo trying to go around the outside, but unable to get through. Closing in now is Pasma and Bortoletto as well. So Patterson leads this queue, but he's got away. So this is your queue for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Uphill they come once more, and now down the Kemmel Straight. Are we going to see a change? 2, possibly 3. We'll find out. Belov is quickest on track, by the way, in 3rd place. He's just done a new fastest lap, but it's up in the background I'm worried about. Aron there, trying to get past Cavicourt. He's pulled alongside. Aron in the number 1 car there, getting through. Hajar going side by side with Alatalo. That's Alatalo trying to make a move. That's a move for 10th place it would be, and Alatalo's through. Brilliant driving there from Alatalo. Had to have 2 stabs at it through Les Coubes, and he's up into 10th place now. Well, Pasma here behind wants to get some points in this race. Currently, he sits just outside it in 12th place. They make their way down through the left-hander. In terms of your leaders, by the way, the gap is now 0.6 of a second between Saucy and Maloney. It was a second when they crossed the line, and Maloney has closed it now by 0.4 in the first sector. Just seems Saucy has the legs on him throughout the 2nd and 3rd sectors, and Maloney is just unable to do anything with that, but we'll keep an eye on it throughout the race. Maybe he's saving something in the tank, and that time, damage limitation from Maloney. He was only 1/10 of a second slower than Saucy. Apologies, I'm not talking about the cars on your screen. We'll go back to doing that now, but of course, we are getting very deep into this race. Just 1 minute plus a lap to go. Right, here's Havicourt in the 27, leading these guys. This is your battle for 8th place on track as they make their way through the left now and down towards the chicane once more. Here's a look at your leaders once more. Well, there you can see it's closer than when we first came back to them. Here's the battle for 9th place. Havicourt leading this. Alatalo in the all-red colours there, trying to go down the outside. Is he going to try and go all the way around the outside of the chicane? Havicourt's gone deep on the brakes, and Alatalo could get him on the exit here. Who's going to straighten the car up first? Well, Havicourt holds on for now. 2 to go as we cross the line. Hajar behind this in the background. Pasma is under pressure from Bortoletto, but Alatalo here looking to the outside of Havicourt. Tries to get the switchback on the exit of Lassource, but unable to get through. But that's no problem because he'll have to run down the Kemmel Straight. However, he has Isaac Hajar trying to come down the inside. Havicourt, Alatalo, Hajar, into Eau Rouge we go. This your battle for 9th place on track, and in the background, Pasma is under pressure from Bortoletto. There's your leaders. Gap is closed down. It's now down to less than half a second between the leaders, but up in the distance to the far left of your screen is Hajar. To the far right is Alatalo, and in the middle is Havicourt, and Hajar's going to pass. The pair of them goes past Alatalo and goes past Havicourt as well. Alatalo goes past Havicourt. Havicourt has gone from 9th to 11th. Brilliant driving from the Frenchman there. He's got himself up to 9th place in this race. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from him, given he dropped down out of the top 10 at one stage. Alatalo runs wide there. The clock has hit 0. There will be just 1 lap to go when we cross the line next time. Are we going to have a battle for the lead? Has Maloney timed this race to perfection? We'll find out. He closed the gap from 8/10 to 4/10 through the first sector, it seems, but we have to see what happens through the second and third. This is your battle for the final points in the race. Alatalo will take the points for 9th place, Havercourt the point for 10th, because Patterson is invisible when it comes to points, and Patterson is actually coming under pressure from Aaron as well, so we could have a battle for 7th. Okay, 1 lap to go at the end of this, and we look back at our leaders. Belov there is really closing in on Mini, so we could have a battle for 4th place as well as we go on to the last lap. There's Patterson and Aaron. Here's Hajar in the 6th. Behind that is Alatalo, and behind that, Havercourt, whose tyres, I think, have just completely disintegrated. He's now under pressure from Pasma as well, and you can see Havercourt getting loose there through Blanchimont, and Pasma's going to look to the outside as we go up towards the chicane. Bortoletto trying to get involved in this as well. It's been a brilliant race from Bortoletto as he now comes out of the chicane, but he's struggling with his tyres as well. Up towards turn number 1 we go. It was 8/10 between your leaders when they crossed the start-finish line. I don't think that's going to be enough for Maloney to challenge Saucy down the Kemmel Straight. Up in the background here, that looks like Ido Cohen battling away with Dino Beganovic. Beganovic, the driver behind in the red and white there. Cohen the one ahead. Cohen does score points because he's with us for the rest of the season. We go back to our leaders. Saucy going defensive. Maloney closing in. And the gap has come down to 4/10 of a second. It's done that every lap for the last few laps, and every time it's happened, Maloney just hasn't had the legs to do it. Here's Hajar though, round 2 versus him and Alatalo is it in the background. Pasma, Bortoletto, Havercourt side by side. Bortoletto in the blue colours trying to get through, and there's contact there with Havercourt. Bortoletto goes straight on, and Pasma has gained a place in that. So Pasma is up now to 11th place, I think that is. Make that 10th potentially as he makes his way downhill. Back to our leaders, Saucy here leading the way from Maloney. Maloney's given this absolutely everything, but I think Saucy is just going to have enough to hold on. David in the background in 3rd place, closing in. What about Belov and Mini? Well, there was a gap between them last time they crossed the line of 7/10, and it looks like they've switched places actually. I think we've had a change for 4th place potentially on this last lap. We'll pick that up as they come up towards the chicane. But we must go back to our race leader. Gregor Saucy has been absolutely dominant in his championship. No confusion, my end. There's Mini still in that position, and Belov just behind, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move either. Well, Gregor Saucy has driven this one absolutely superbly. He's had lots of pressure. He's had to deal with losing the lead more than once in this race. But for the 3rd time, we're going to have a Swiss winner here at Spa. Gregor Saucy will take his 7th win of the season as he comes across the line and further extend his lead in the championship. It's another podium for Zane Maloney. That now his 5th of the season, and a 6th podium for Hadrian David. Gabriele Mini will take the rookie win in 4th place. Belov finishes in 5th. Colapinto 6th. Here we are side by side. I think that's Boyer and Havercourt. In fact, they've crossed the line. That's Goethe trying to gain another place as they come up towards the line. In fact, it was Goethe managed to get into 17th at the line there. Brilliant work from him. But Belov finishes in 5th. Then we have Colapinto in 6th. Well done to Dexter Patterson on his first weekend. Finishes 7th. Then it was Aaron in 8th, Hajar in 9th, Alatalo 10th. The last point will go to Pasma. The Monolite team celebrating there because Dexter Patterson, their driver, finishes in 7th place, and they've had a really, really tough season. So that a great result, and I really, really hope we see Dexter Patterson, the 17-year-old, back for the rest of the season. But leading the way in the season, his championship lead extends once more. It was 50 points coming into this race, and it is going to extend as we leave this race. Gregor Saucy, for the 7th time, is going to stand on the top step of the podium. It has almost his name on there now. Gregor Saucy, He had to deal with a lot of pressure. He lost the lead more than once, but he takes the win. Very, very controlled race, you have to say. Zane Maloney, he gave that absolutely everything, didn't he, in second place. He kept the pressure on the entire race, but just couldn't quite get that extra edge he needed to. Well, let's confirm the results. Saucy, Maloney, David, your top three. Just 1.6 seconds in. It's Mini, Belov, Colapinto, Patterson, Aron, Hajar, Alatalo. Pasma takes the last point. Bortoletto, Boya, Beganovic, Cohen, your top 15. Outside of the top 15, then we had Pizzi in 16th. Gerfer from last place to 17th. Well done to him. Havercourt 18th, disappointing end to the race, and it was Flukes, Seppanen, Rosso, Barrichello, Noss, Gola, Vidales. Unfortunate end to him after an incident. Pesha, Bula, Quinn, Marinangeli, Deligoanti round out your top 30. A shame for a non-finish for Quinn, Marinangeli and Deligoanti, and they weren't the only non-finishers in this race. Sadly, we saw further incidents earlier in the race as well. Let's look back at what happened at the start of the race. It seems so long ago now, doesn't it? But Saucy would lead us. Mini to the right of screen, pulled over to try and take the racing line. Vidales was trying to sneak through on the inside. It was a clean start as 33 drivers sweeps their way into La Source. And as they made their way up Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time, we had, sadly, the driver who didn't get away from the line, which we talked about, was Alexandre Bardignon, took a slow start. The battles continued in the background. This was the two teammates of Mini and Saucy, who had a gap over the rest of the field, but they would fight for the lead. Mini would get through once, and then he would try once more on his teammate Saucy there, and that would help the gap close down. In the background, we had the likes of Cohen trying to make his way up the order, fighting there with Pizzi. An incident then between Deligoanti and Smith would see the safety car come out, and the gap that Saucy did have would diminish, but that wouldn't be bad news for him. It would be bad news for his teammate Mini in second place, because after Saucy yet again nailed the restart, pressure would come for Mini as Maloney there went side by side with him, and just on the exit of Lake Coombe he would take the place. An incident there between Marinangeli and Emidio Pescia. Up though, we had further incidents. That was Vidales and Aron coming together. A real shame for Vidales, because that put him basically out of the race. Aron though would try and redeem himself and make some places. However, he would have to deal with the likes of Hajar trying to go around the outside there of Alatalo, who worked his way through nicely. Bortoletto and Cabacor would come through and make contact, but out front it would be Saucy who took the win from Maloney and Davids. Well, here we go then. It's been a fantastic weekend at Spa, hasn't it? Podium should be coming up for you shortly, but while we do wait for that, we must talk about the next round. Of course, sadly, due to the tragic floods across Belgium and Germany, the next round at the Nürburgring, which was due to take place in 2 weeks, has been cancelled. A new round will be scheduled, and the details of that will go up across the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine in the coming weeks. So to keep posted for that. In terms of the races, after that, we of course have 10 rounds in total. That will be our 7th round when that gets rescheduled. Red Bull Ring will be the 8th round on the 11th and 12th of September. Mugello the 9th on the 9th and 10th of October. And we end the season at Monza on the 30th and the 31st of October. It's going to be a fantastic end to the season. All tracks you can race at, and as we've just seen, you put these guys on a track where slipstreaming, racing, overtaking is possible. We have a race where I am sweating by the end, because that did not stop, did it? They didn't give me a break all race. Well, the safety car did, but even then, there's steady 3 cars to talk about. Brilliant stuff overall. Really enjoyed that one. We'll have 4 drivers on the podium. Mini will also be on there as our rookie winner as well. And he takes the lead in the rookie standings as well, away from Isaac Hajar. Finishing 3rd though, Hadrian David. 2nd in the championship, and his 6th time, shall I say, on the podium. A 5th for Zane Maloney, who comes out there to the left of your screen. Then our race winner for the 7th time this season, Gregor Saucy. Well done to him. He takes another win, and also our rookie winner will come out as well. Gabriele Mini, brilliant race from him. good experience from the young 16-year-old. You have to say drove beyond his years in that race, and it's a win for ART. Well, we said we had 2 Swiss winners here in the past, Neil Yarni, Hugo de Sadelier, and for the first time since 2016 we will hear the Swiss national anthem for Gregor Saucy. Well done to Gregor Saucy, Zane Maloney, Hadrian David, ART and Gabriele Mini. That's all here from Spa. Thank you very much for joining us this weekend. As I said, details of the next round will come out in the coming weeks. It's been absolutely brilliant to have your pleasure this weekend. My name's been Chris McCarthy, and we look forward to seeing you again for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine very soon. Bye for now.